Welcome back to my channel, where today I will be reading from the r/NoSleep subreddit. So grab your glass of water, settle into bed, and prepare for the knock that comes at 3:17 a.m. This happened about 4 years ago when I was in college. I lived with 3 other people in a house near campus. My room was on the first floor, and the other 3 bedrooms were upstairs. There was 1 bathroom on the second floor. It was very unusual for anyone to come downstairs in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. We all knew the layout of the house well enough that we would just go upstairs to use the toilet if we needed to in the middle of the night. One night, I was awoken from a dead sleep to what sounded like a blood-curdling scream from upstairs. I ignored it since my roommates were all pretty dramatic and would often scream in their sleep. A few minutes later, I heard what sounded like heavy footsteps coming down the stairs. I could hear the foot hitting the steps one by one. Footsteps stopped right outside my door, and I could hear someone's shadow looming on the other side. I was half asleep at this point, so I just called out, "Who's there?" No response. I called out again, "Who's there? Is everything okay?" Still no response. The doorknob started to turn, and the door slowly opened. At this point, I was wide awake and sitting up in bed. I called out again, "Who's there? What do you want?" The door opened all the way, and it was pitch black outside. Our hallway didn't have any lights, and our front door was all the way at the end of the hallway. Whoever was standing in front of my door didn't move. They just stood there in the darkness for a few seconds. I started to get really scared at this point. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember saying something along the lines of, "If you want something, just ask me, and I'll get it for you." Still no response. The person or persons outside my door slowly began to walk into my room. I remember screaming at the top of my lungs for help. While I was watching this person walk closer and closer towards my bed, I remember thinking, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die. This is how I'm gonna die." I tried to get out of bed, but my legs were completely frozen and wouldn't move. This person walked right up to my bed, and I could see the silhouette of a very tall, thin man standing over me. I remember closing my eyes and squeezing them shut while I waited for whatever was going to happen next. When I finally dared to open them again, the person was gone, and the door was closed. I remember sitting there in bed for a long time after that, paralyzed in fear until the sun started to come up. I got out of bed and walked to my window to look out into the front yard. On the ground below my window was a set of perfectly round indentations in the grass. It looked like a set of footprints. I remember getting a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach and thinking, "Oh my God, they're here to take me." I didn't know where the person went after they left my room, but I knew that they were still in the house. I stayed in my room for the rest of the morning until my roommate came downstairs. I told her what happened, and she said that she had heard the commotion, but assumed that it was a dream. Later that day, we checked all the security cameras on the house, and none of them worked. All the wires had been chewed through. Ended up calling the police, and they sent out a canine. The dog walked right up to my door and started to bark furiously. The police asked us if we had any enemies, or if we knew of anyone who would want to break into our house. We all said no. They took our statements and filed it away as a weird open and close case. I moved out of that house as soon as my lease was up, and I never looked back. I know this story isn't very detailed, but this happened about 4 years ago, and I can only remember bits and pieces of it. I hope this is okay. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a good night. What do you think happened to the narrator? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. I've been your host, and we'll see you next time with another Reddit story.